Yo, what's good, man? It's your boy Derek Branch here, Strike7Sports.com. This episode of the 34 of the Strike 7 Sports podcast. We have guests on contributors Leo Seaberry and Brian Botta joining me here today. So today we're going to talk about a few topics today in sports. Another crazy week of college football, NFL content as well. A lot of things went down in the NFL. College football was lit as usual. The NBA got drama going down with the NBA and his few of their big name players. But we're gonna open up with some college football content, and we're gonna talk about Mike Leach and the effectiveness of that air raid offense, and does it has um, a future in the SEC, given the circumstances, given the teams that are in there. So I'm just going to go over how the program has been with Leach there. Last year they made the big splash when they dropped over 600 yards, a record on the LSU defense, a program that has NFL, ready-made players on it. And people were getting on the bandwagon after that game. I think they got a big ranking after that. But after that, and there was a COVID year as well, but the honeymoon was over with Mississippi State. And people just thought as, it's COVID, you'll get better next year. This year, it's been kind of, to me, I haven't really seen that offense take fold yet. Similar like it was in the Big 12 or the Pac 12. But they struggle in the opener against Louisiana Tech, come from behind and win it. The next week, they blow out North Carolina State, but North Carolina State beat Clemson, and they go up to play Memphis. They lose, even though it was controversial of what that went down with the kickoff, the punt return. They come back home to start Vegas, put up a fight with LSU, but they lose again as well. Now, I just want to ask y'all, I'm going to start with Brian first. Do you think Mike Leach's air raid offense has a future in the SEC when you have guys like a Nick Saban, Sam Pittman in Arkansas now? You got Kirby Smart, all these other great coaches in that conference. Do you think that offense has a future in this conference?
I don't. I really don't. And the biggest reason why, all those other coaches, well, they've adapted to the modern offenses of a lot of these modern offenses of the football, they still are pretty bad. And that's the problem you have with the air raid. It's pretty predictable, and a lot of the defenses do, they just play zone coverage. They rush forward, drop seven, and they just do a good job of shutting down that offense. Every once in a while, they'll get some yards, and they'll get a few wins, but one thing that Mississippi State is you don't have a lot of talent there. So if you do this air raid offense, it has to work, because if it doesn't, it's going to be hard for you to win again, because most games in the SEC, you're going to be the least talented team. And so you got to figure out a way to find a way to get 1 point. And but I don't think there's a certain way to win. I think you can win whatever way works for you, but you better find a way to and do it the right way, because that's the problem with the air raid, in my opinion. It's just not sustainable, pretty predictable, and I think that's why Leach's offense is struggling. I really wouldn't be shocked if, I don't think they'll fire him this year, but next year if they continue to struggle, I won't be surprised if he's gone.
Loading, got anything?
Really, I think the air raid, like Brian was saying, it's really an outdated thing, because in the SEC, you really, that doesn't win in the SEC. It doesn't work. It's traditional defense being top notch in terms of being getting the basic fundamentals down. Like air raid didn't work in the Pac-12. It might work in the Pac-12. It might got you a lot of points then, but you just have to understand he had to adapt to the confidence to the team, and like you could tell even with like in the LSU game, I don't think they adapted well. I don't think I watched the game with not impressed really by everything. It got to make it does get you back in games because I will say that. I think Leach needs to understand he needs to get something to mixture to where he keeps a run game going. Like he keeps like a certain. He needs to have like a combination of two type of offenses. Like you need to have a traditional offense, and then when you use your air raid when it gets you when you're down. Because if you notice in the LSU and in the Memphis game, the air raid did work when they were down. Like they got Memphis. Like on their last touchdown against Memphis, they got down the field in 2 plays. To 2 plays. So it has its place at times, like Brian said, it will get you back in games, but I don't think it'll consistently win you games.
Right.
Can I add one thing?
Go ahead.
Against Memphis, I think anybody can score against that secondary. They're one of the worst. And I love them. I know I gotta support our team, but I mean, damn, they can't stop a damn park car. That's how bad they are. I'm not surprised Mississippi State had all the success they had in that time. I think they did for like the quarterback completed a school record 50 completions. And I think they threw for like either 500 or 600 yards, but they just
You said how many completions?
50.
Oh my goodness.
Man, but look, this is what I think, man. I think the air raid can work, but you gotta be balanced. You gotta be balanced in the SEC. Regardless of what people may think about 2019 LSU and how they throw the football all over the place, Jamal Chase, Justin Jefferson, the tight ends, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they were balanced. And I think there should be no excuse why Mike Leach cannot recruit a 4 or 5 star running back to that program and change his playbook a little. You know what I'm saying? And what I never understood about Mississippi State, I think Ole Miss is better right now. But what I don't understand about the both programs is like, given their geographical, location, they should be right there with LSU, Alabama, LSU, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, grabbing the best recruits. But they don't. You know what I mean? That's just what weird to me about Mississippi State. They don't grab the best recruits. Sometimes they do. Y'all got anything to add?
The one thing I'll say, recruiting in the SEC is a gauntlet, and I'm an Oklahoma fan, and we're about to find it out. We're recruiting pretty well, but and I think Lincoln Riley, even though recently his offenses hasn't been too successful, that's why a lot of these kids want to be part of successful offenses and defense. If you have the right coaches, then you can get those defensive players. But when I look at Ole Miss to Mississippi State, Ole Miss, they're kind of similar to Mississippi State in terms of like recruiting, the type of players they can recruit. But Lane Kiffin, I think being with Saban really, really helped him. But Lane Kiffin just understands he's a good play caller, but he saw someone even that had a chance to help the offense be even better. So he hired Jeff Levy from UCF, and they're one of the best. I won't be surprised if Jeff Levy will be that offense. And that game coming up this weekend, Alabama versus Ole Miss, I can't wait to see it. But Lane Kiffin understands you got to be balanced. And he also understood that defense has to get better too. The one thing Mississippi State has over Ole Miss is they have a better defensive coordinator. I think it's Zach Annett. He's really good. But they did a solid job recruiting players. When you look at the teams they got to compete against, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Florida, even Tennessee when they're rolling. I know they're not right now, but it's a lot that you have to do. So I think the most important thing for schools like that is development, because you're not going to out-recruit some schools. So the only thing you can do is out-develop them. If you do that, you have a shot. But you also have to, if something isn't working, you got to evolve. You can't just continue to do the same thing.
Yeah, you're right. You got any that, Lil Odin?
I I agree with Brian on some on like what he was saying about like our recruiting. If you don't like, cause you know realistically, Mississippi State. If you look in terms of all schools, if you look at all 14 schools in the SEC, like I kind of disagree with you when you say that Mississippi State should be up there with them, because I don't think. I think if you put all 14 schools together, I think they'd be 10 or 11 when it comes to like option wise. Like, simply because of the fact it's not a big place. Like, most of these places are small towns, obviously. Starting media not really appeal. I don't really. They never been this type to get the 4 or 5. Their best players have been Colin Hill, guys. That's a 3-star. Dak Prescott, 3-star. Like Brian said, they're not known for getting 5-star. They're known for getting 3 and 4s and developing into NFL caliber players. They're not a market for a 5-star. So I don't agree when you say that they should be getting the best players when they've never been a market top notch. A lot of money to go there, but he was a last 5-star that I remember coming there. But they had a few guys, but I think they're really a school that develops 3s and 4s and gets them to the NFL.
Hey, what was 2018 when they had like those first rounders when it was Jeffrey Simmons, Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
When they had, what's the coach name? He's the OC at
Oregon,
Joe Moorhead. Man, I'm wondering could they kept him? You know,
yeah, I think that the reason why they fired him, ironically, this is what I find kind of ironic. I think there was a fight in practice. The quarterback now, he's at Simmons, Garrett Schrader, I think got in a fight with somebody, or someone got in a fight with him. Then, and also he went in at the level they wanted, so they got rid of him. And I think, in my opinion, that was a mistake. But Moorhead has landed on his feet and did a hell of a job at Oregon, helped them get up. But then, I don't know if you remember the fight Mississippi State got with Tulsa in their bowl game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of ironic. So you have a really undisciplined situation there, but yet the coach gets to stay. And I don't think, in my opinion, I think Moorhead is a better. I don't think the better like my football mind. I'll give Leach. Leach has proven it over a long period of time, but Moorhead understands what it takes to win, and he's willing to adapt. So that's why I think he will be a better head coach. But hey, I guess Mississippi State knows what they're doing, so we'll see.
I don't know, man. I think when they hired Leach, man, I think it kind of got him a little giddy. You know what I'm saying? Kind of got excited. Thought hey, look, he in the SEC. He should be able to get defense now. It still ain't happening.
You can say the one thing you can say with Leach, people aren't talking about that. That's about it. I don't know.
Not really. No, like last year when he beat LSU, they got that shine for like a week, and then it just went away. I was livid that day, man.
Mike Leach, I just think of the stuff he says at press conferences, not his football coaching ability. That's just what I think of. That's just me.
All right, man. Moving right along, man. So, the next thing I want to talk about is college football. Still college football, and I would like to hear y'all's way too early, top 4 college football playoff teams. Your top 4 and your first 4 out. So I'm gonna start with mine. So my first 4 win is number 1. I got Alabama. Number 2, I got Oregon. 3, Notre Dame. 4, Georgia. So I think it's gonna go like this, man. I'm trying to give away what I got planned for this week for my writing, but I think there's a chance Georgia will play Alabama in the SEC championship game. It'll be a classic, another classic. Georgia will probably choke away the lead, and they'll lose. But Georgia's gonna be so good that the voters, the CFP committee, is gonna want give them the 4 seed. I think Oregon, they got to mess it up. I think Oregon, as long as they don't lose, they go to Pac-12 championship game, win it. I think they're locked. They're getting in. Notre Dame, like I said on Twitter, they beat Cincinnati, and I don't see they beat Cincinnati. They already beat Wisconsin. They beat Cincinnati this week. They get by Cincinnati. I don't see any other trip up on their any other issues on their schedule. I think they get in. Alabama, they getting in. So that's my first four. I think they'll play Georgia, Alabama, and play Georgia in the rematch. I think it'll go like that, but you never know because they want ratings and views. So there's a chance they might try to flip. They might try to get Alabama to play Notre Dame again, and let Oregon play Georgia. You know, and then have the rematch like that. But that's how I see it playing out. My first four out. My first four out. I got Ohio State, Penn State, Oklahoma, Cincinnati. Cincinnati is, to me, the best team in the AEC conference. I think, Memphis, I thought had a chance to, run the table for a minute. And it kind of caught me off guard what went down this past weekend with UTSA, whatever it's called. Got a little disappointed. I thought it could have been, 5, 6, 7-0 going into UCF, and then, Dylan Gabriel, he's hurt, so that plays into their favor. But oh well. And I don't know about Oklahoma this year, man. Oklahoma is not Oklahoma. The kid was Spencer Rattler. I thought it was gonna be another Mahomes type quarterback, but I don't see it. Penn State, they do this every year with Penn State. They get hot, they get a high ranking, but they get tripped up. And Ohio State just ain't Ohio State right now. But that's my first four in, my first four out. So, like, start with Eldon and give us your first four in, first four out.
Well, taking my notes, I had a feeling we were gonna talk about this. So, give me 1 second. My note for what I've seen, and I'm like, when I get to my poll, I'll tell you, but I have something to say about some of the stuff you were saying, but I'm gonna get to that
Go ahead.
once I take time for it. I do think Cincinnati can get in if they beat Notre Dame. I think if they beat Notre Dame, run the table, do not be surprised if they get in.
Over who? Over who, man? Come on, man. No, wait. Over who? Who they getting in over, man? Oklahoma? Are they getting over Oklahoma? Come on, man. What happened last year?
Yeah.
Come on, man. They're biased, man. That's the problem with college football. It's too regional.
Yeah.
It's too regional.
I don't think you had Iowa in your top 8, did you?
Man, come on, man. Iowa, man. Come on, man. Look, hey, listen, man. Listen. 2015, Iowa went undefeated. Went to the Big Ten championship game, played Michigan State. They had the chance, lost. Bye. Got smoked by in the Rose Bowl by Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey went off on them. Done. I ain't buying Iowa, man. I'm not buying them. I'm not. Come on, man. If you're not Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, and I like little brother Sparty, I'm not really messing with you in the Big Ten. I really don't. Go ahead.
I was thinking you're disrespectful. I was gonna make you pay for the disrespect.
Nah, bro. Come on, man.
But all right, my top 4 really obviously number 1 is undisputed is Alabama. They've been dominant every game. They made really the closest team that really played them good. I like how Florida played them, but they've been undisputed number 1. Number 2, I'm you know what? I'm gonna put some respect. I'm put Oregon at number 2. The way they dominated Ohio State really was impressive. For me, they really catapulted them ahead of a lot of people. And a lot of kids, they really made some people take Oregon serious. So Oregon number 2. I put Georgia number 3. I know it was just Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's horrible, very irrelevant. But when you beat somebody by 62 points in the SEC, that should say something.
That's Vanderbilt, though, man.
Yeah, it's Vanderbilt.
It's Vanderbilt.
It is Vanderbilt. Like I said, it's Vanderbilt, but 62 points. That's pretty impressive. Like I don't think from the stand, like that's phenomenal to beat somebody that much. And number 4, I might go with I'm gonna put Iowa my number 4. I think Iowa is my number 4 right now because you know why they dominate. Now Iowa's found a way to win. Now they used to be a heavy team. They found a good quarterback, and they found a way to win games with the run and the pass. And that's different from other Iowa teams because that 15 was with Bethel. Bethel was a quarterback, but their team was run heavy. And the best way to what they did, Michigan State and Stanford did, they Bethel throw, and Bethel couldn't make those throws. That's how they was able to win. But this year, 6 years later, they have that quarterback and they can run, and they have a good running game. So they have both now. But my first 4 out, I gotta go with 5. I put Notre Dame 5. My first 4 out. Cincinnati game is gonna tell a lot. If they take care of business, they could jump somebody in that top 4 play. Right now, they number 5 for me. Number 6, I'm gonna go with Arkansas. They getting a lot of disrespect, like because they took care of A&M, right, and really led from end to end of their game. They not really getting no respect. But we'll see what they do against Georgia this week. If they beat Georgia, they'll be a top 5 team. And they're already number 8 right now. But they'll be my number 6. Number 7, I know what they lost to Oregon and all that. But I'm not counting Ohio State out. Like they not done yet. They still they got everything back on their track against Tulsa. And yeah, I know Tulsa, and they really this week, but they lost to Oregon. They're also a good team. They didn't lose to a cupcake team. So yes, they lost, but I still think they're a top-notch team, and they're gonna be there in the end. And number 8, this is when you got to get the hard one. I'm gonna go with Brian Rodgers. I know they look bad against West Virginia. West Virginia's not. They're shells of their old selves. But I really like how Eric Gray has made a big influence in terms of being a great running back and a great pass catching back. That was really good pickup in him. And he showed up like he been rallying out a lot on Saturday night. I know y'all was watching the game. And with his runs in terms of catching out the backfield, really just being a dynamic guy. And then I had to play against him in high school, so I saw on the level. I saw this guy. He was on the same field with him, so I know he has so much talent, and I just think he's gonna be able to keep the playoff. Even Rattlers having a down year from what a lot of people thought they'd be, I still think they're a favorite.
All right, Brian.
Yeah, I'll get my top 4. I'll just say this. After the top, I don't know. I mean, debatable, but my top 4 right now, I'll go Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, and I'll just put Notre Dame in there. And I'm not saying Notre Dame has been a top 4 team, but they have some pretty impressive wins. Wisconsin was maybe a little overrated, but still pretty impressive the way they dominated. And this game this week against Cincinnati is going to be interesting. And actually, I think I agree with you about Cincinnati potentially making the playoffs. Because the reason why I disagree about last year, they didn't really have any non-conference wins. They weren't going to get in with AAC teams they beat. But this year, I think they have a punch. Whether they actually put them in or not, that's a whole other story. But I think they got a puncher's chance to make it. You got something to say, or want to continue?
Y'all answer my question, man. Over who though, man? What blue blood? What traditional blue blood program are they gonna put them over, man?
But if the chaos continues, they'll just be. When we get to December, it's just gonna be process of elimination. Like Clemson, you can already say they're done.
Danny Cannell said a 2-loss team could get in the playoffs.
You beat Notre Dame, you're already ahead of them. A lot of these teams play each other, so they eliminate each other, and so that's why I think they have a shot. The ACC, excuse me, they're probably eliminated. So now you take that. I mean, I don't see any team running the table, having one loss, or to take them out. The Big Ten, that's a toss-up. The Big 12, toss-up. The only conference that I could see having two the SEC because they done it before. The Pac-12, that's a toss-up. Oregon, I mean, they're good, but I don't know how consistent they're going to be, and we saw a few years so as this year, the one thing we can say about this year, we don't know what's going to happen. The past years, we were like, we can already put the team in the playoff. This year, nobody knows, and I think that's what's going to make it arguably one of the best seasons ever. So that's why I think Cincinnati has a shot. Not saying they will get in; they have a shot. Those are two different things.
Hey, let me ask y'all this.
And to add to what DB, you and I understand this too, and I know y'all both real knowledgeable guys when this put up. You're making the assumption that the teams ahead of Cincinnati are just going to keep winning. Keep in mind this right now. Cincinnati's at number 7. Let's break down this right now for you. Penn State at number 4 they have to go through Ohio State. They have to go through Michigan. They have to go through Michigan State. So you're assuming okay? We're just gonna go team by team. Bama still has to go through Arkansas, Ole Miss. Still has to go through Auburn. So we're assuming that these teams ahead of Cincinnati, they're at 7. They're in a position right now. Oklahoma still has to go through. They're not. I mean, Oklahoma probably has the easiest of all the teams ahead of them. Oklahoma and Bama have the best chance of going undefeated. I think Georgia can lose. I think Oregon can lose. I think Penn State could lose. I think Iowa could lose, but I don't think Iowa going to. But I think they could lose. So I think there's a path for them to get to that top 4. And if you have 2 losses, let's say Georgia loses to Florida and they lose to Alabama in the conference championship game. Are they playoff? Are they?
Who?
Are you gonna put an undefeated Cincinnati team left out over a 2-loss Georgia team?
I guess, man. Hey, I would, but I'm not. I'm not part of CFP. I'm part of the committee. I would.
Hey, no, look, brother. Right.
No, I said I would put Cincinnati in over the 2-loss Georgia.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around.
Nah, I would put them in. But let me ask y'all this, man. Hey, so Cincinnati get into the AAC championship game, and they play Memphis. Do y'all think the Tigers can pull it off, man? Do y'all think? No. Look, listen, they undefeated, and let's say the chaos, with other schools went down. All Cincinnati gotta do is win this AAC championship game against Memphis. Can the Tigers pull off the upset? That'll be the biggest upset in program history. Biggest win.
I mean, anything can happen, but I'll be shocked. No, I don't even think the Tigers are going to make the AC championship game. Right now, I would put Cincinnati versus SMU. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I just don't trust his defense. And you got a cheap.
I'm disappointed, man. I thought Memphis could win 10 games this year, man. Till I saw the change. Till I saw the change at quarterback, and I didn't even know about Heineken. And I was like, okay, we got a freshman out here. Didn't do too bad. Didn't do pretty bad, but I mean, I don't know what Silverfield was thinking this week, but we'll see how they bounce back. But I don't know if Memphis. I don't know, man. But Cincinnati got a shot, man. I think if the chaos happened with other schools, all they got to do is win the conference championship, man.
Now, what sucks for Cincinnati, and what plays it, Brian, what plays it to what DB is saying, Cincinnati does have to go undefeated. And that's something that you make a good point. None of the teams ahead of them have to go undefeated. Bama doesn't have to go undefeated. Georgia doesn't have to go be undefeated. Oregon might have to go undefeated. Penn State doesn't have to go undefeated. Iowa doesn't have to go undefeated. I don't even think Oklahoma has to go undefeated because we've seen plenty of times where last year Cincinnati was undefeated, got left out over a 1-loss team. So,
dude, you know how much pressure that is, man? You know how much pressure that is?
It is a lot of pressure.
And the game's going to be at their own place, right? Because yeah, that's a lot of pressure, dude. But wait.
I think if you tell them you got one game to make it to the CFP, they'll figure out we just got one game.
Listen, man, I've seen this happen before, man. I've seen this happen before. I've seen it happen before.
They'll figure it out.
Boise State blew it in 2010. They were undefeated, blew it.
No, they ended up finishing undefeated. They beat TCU in the Fiesta Bowl.
No, it was the other year. The year they were blowing people out. And they went, I forgot who they played. I think it was BYU, I'm not sure. Kicker missed the field goal. Kicker missed the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And he was getting the death threats.
I think that was the Nevada game.
Yeah, Nevada. It was Nevada on the road.
Tom Kaepernick was playing that.
Yep. I've seen it happen before, man, with G5 schools. Get tripped up all the time.
Go back to what you were saying. Going back to what you were saying about till the Tigers pull the upset. Like Brian was saying, it's gonna be hard for them to get there to this point because I thought Memphis had a chance to go 12-0, but that's part of there was a fan thing, not looking at a football thing, understanding that SMU offense is legit. I think Tanner Mordecai is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the country. That guy is really good. Like that's guy that Brian you saw at Oklahoma. He really didn't get his chance to be that guy, but you see SMU stepping up and making plays. And I think this is a guy that's gonna be real influential in terms of this SMU Memphis game is gonna determine a lot. And I do think whoever wins that game is gonna get there. But if Memphis gets there, I think Memphis has a punching chance. I give them a 30% chance. I think Desmond Ridder is gonna have a field day with Memphis defense, but also Memphis has Calvin Austin the third, and so that when you have Calvin Austin the third, he'll keep you in games, whether it be on special teams or offense. And so
but that defense though,
mm-hmm.
with the Cincinnati defense. That defense put the clamps on Memphis last year, man. They put the clamps.
Probably not as good last year, but they're still pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, Calvin Austin third is dope, man. And Sean Dykes, man, I say this, man, he can play wide receiver at the next level, man, if they want to. He can play wide receiver, put in the slot, man. Good player. You got anything else to add?
This, to me, this is going to be their biggest test, Cincinnati. Because as good as Notre Dame is, they're beatable. If you watch that Florida State game and early on in the Wisconsin game, those are two games they easily could have lost. So this will be the hardest game they'll play all year, a hostile South Bend, and so it'll be interesting to see. And Jack Cohn, he's a little banged up, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays in this game. But this is your opportunity. This game, for the year, you circle this game on your calendar. Indiana was all right, but they ain't Notre Dame. And so we'll see what this Cincinnati team's about.
All right, man. Let's move right along, man. So up next, NFL news, NFL content. Another crazy week in NFL. Been some pretty good ball games in the prime time slots. Las Vegas Raiders, the oldest team. He came back again, man. I went back and watched the game. Like, let me see this game. Let me see this team. Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good, man. I don't think. Knowing Flores, he might get the job over Tua Tagovailoa, man. He moved the team. He moved the offense better than Tua. Las Vegas Raiders, they 3-0. I think they're on top of the AFC West. Chiefs went down. San Francisco left too much time on the clock for Aaron Rodgers to do anything. So with Aaron Rodgers, you gotta leave like 5 seconds left on the clock to do anything. Even that could be a stretch because he got the arm to get it down the field. But anyways, man, I want to talk about this NFL topic. This open up this NFL segment with the unrealistic expectations on young quarterbacks. Today I was listening to 92.9 Jason and John show today, and he was saying how the worldwide leader was hyping up Justin Herbert as being in the Mahomes category, the Mahomes, tier. And he was saying like, why are we so quick to put these young guys in these levels yet? You know what I'm saying? And I just think with a lot of owners, GMs, coaches, fans, national media, they've kind of it's not patient anymore with quarterbacks, with young quarterbacks. We see, I saw this with what's the kid's name in New York? Um
Jones.
Quarterback in New York Jets?
Daniel Jones or Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yeah.
Wilson. Yeah.
Last year, right? I was online at CBS Sports.com checking out some NFL draft content. They had that kid, Zach Wilson, mocked to the Saints at 28 as Drew Brees' successor. So you know how it is. So I would check that. I want to see. Let me check this guy, Zach Wilson, out. The guy mocked to the Saints. So with BYU games, they play on the West Coast, so you gotta stay up like 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock at night to watch the games. So I watched this guy play, and I saw him make like one or two Patrick Mahomes like throws, and I'm saying this dude ain't gonna be going to the Saints, man. With making throws like that, and I just don't like the fact that we put these unrealistic expectations on quarterbacks, man. You see it in Chicago. We see it in New York, Jacksonville. Some of these guys are not ready, man. And I might sound old school with this, but I just think a lot of these QBs should sit on the bench, man. Should sit on the bench for a year and learn the system. Not instead of being thrown on there in bad situations with bad O-lines. You know what I'm saying? Bad O-lines, no good receivers, and expect them to change everything. But I want to ask y'all, do you think the reason why we don't see certain quarterbacks succeed right now is because of unrealistic expectations among fans, fan base, owners. And another thing I heard from a national radio guy today, Ben Malone of Fox. I mean, he said that Jalen Hurts is not an NFL ready quarterback, and I'm just like, really? After we say these things after like 3 games, man. The guy, 3 games this year, and like he didn't play that much last year because of the foolishness with Doug Peterson with the last game of the year, and he only played 3 games. So it's not fair to just say, well, what this guy is not going to do when the team is not really, to me, is not invested all in on him as well as being the long-term guy. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Anyway, y'all can go ahead.
Okay. I think I see where you come from in terms of guys not always being like having high expectations. I think we understand the Jaguars didn't draft them. They weren't able to draft Trevor Lawrence for being really good. They drafted him because they were really bad. So let's use that example. I'm just gonna use Lawrence. So he struggled with 5 touchdowns, 7 picks. He's coming from Clemson, where you have the best players on the best team, in the best environment, one of the best environments. You go to the Jaguars. You can't expect a guy that's going from Clemson, one of the best teams, to the worst team in the NFL, to have those things like results, and that's unrealistic of fans to think that. Same with Zach Wilson at BYU, very good team, solid players, got a hit out of the NFL talent. People know that, but that BYU team has a lot of guys in the pros right now. They come from environments of stability. You're going to instability, and then you're telling me to go play Justin Fields to go play behind that line, that poor line to give him 9. You're telling me to go play behind that. People are just too rushing for players. Like you want, and then like you say about Jalen Hurts, they say you're not good enough if you aren't good after a certain amount of games. Now I do agree with Captain Alfred. The current says this, DB. He said he can tell about 16 starts if somebody's good or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It takes a year.
I agree with that, but I do agree with that because you can tell if Jalen Hurts is the same player a year from now, we'll know he can't play.
Right.
Not saying he can't play now, but I'm just saying if he hasn't shown progression. So I think guys may need to take a red shirt year. Like If he was not playing this whole year, would have been great for him. But then again, I see what people say. A lot of people say you got to throw him out there eventually. You couldn't. This guy was a number 10 overall pick, and I know Mahomes was 10, and he sat on the bench, but Mahomes had a great situation where he a solid starter. And let's listen to a solid starter can start on, I say, 25 to 30, 25 teams in the NFL at that time. He has any donor ahead of him. Not somebody that's a real. I mean, you can be a very good starter, but now it's just a guy now, and so he didn't. People expected him to be on the field quicker than like maybe these other guys, but I still think that it's just these expectations for these guys are over. Like you expect Williamson to be great. He's basically Sam Darnold from 3 years ago. You expect Lawrence to be great. You really can say at this point right now, he's basically Blake Bortles from 7 years ago. Right now at this point, so people's expectations have to be tempered because they know these guys that get drafted by teams that are really good to begin with.
Yeah, it's the to me I think it's the Mahomes effect, man. Like a lot of teams see these fans see these Mahomes like throws, and they think that's what it is. They think that's quarterback. That's good quarterback. They see that it's like with the Saints right now. You know, they kind of upset with Jameis Winston throwing the football. He's not throwing it enough, throwing it 4,000 yards. Like, dude, that's not how you win football games, But go ahead, Brian, man.
Yeah, I think the number one thing is it's hard to win in the NFL. I think that's what main thing, and it takes time for it to develop. Like some of these guys are still developing, and sometimes like you need a situation where a QB can be like Patrick Mahomes. He sat for a year before he started his. He did start the last season. Alex was the full-time starter, but they need time to develop. They need time, but sometimes it depends on the coach's situation because sometimes they may want to not put them right away. But if ownership tells you got to do it, or you could be gone. So
they're gonna be gone anyway, though.
Say what?
They're gonna be gone. This is what I understand, but what certain teams and how they operate. You have a head coach that's about to get fired, right? He drafts a quarterback. Going into the next season, the quarterback doesn't do enough, so the coach gets fired, and the next guy gets him. So he doesn't want him, so he has to go get his guy. Just like with Mitchell Trubisky. John Fox drafted Mitchell Trubisky, but John Fox got fired. Matt Nagy came in, got him into the playoffs with Trubisky, but he didn't want it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I think you got to have patience with these quarterbacks, but eventually you'll evaluate them, and if they're not the guy, you either get a veteran and move on to the next one. But I think if you're judging a guy after 3 starts, then that's like the Jaguars. Everybody knew the Jaguars were going to suck. The Jets, everybody knew the Jets. So this isn't breaking news that their QBs are struggling too. These are just not really good teams. Now the Giants are a different situation. Daniel Jones, he's played a little better, but it's reached a point where it's now or never for him. If you've been there for a year or two, it's time for you to get over the hump and take that next step. But with these rookie QBs, I say give them patience. I kind of feel sorry for Justin Fields. He's just in a rough situation. Hopefully, if Nagy stays, which I don't see happening, he'll get it together. But he'll have a new coach next, more than likely.
Well, that was my thing. I wrote this story a few days after the draft when they selected Fields, and I wanted to know did they draft Fields for him, for Nagy, or was it drafting for somebody else? Because you know how coaches are with these quarterbacks. Once the new guy come in, they're gonna want their guy. 50% of the time. You know what I'm saying? But now we're gonna move along to another quarterback. He's a little older though, by the name of Ben Roethlisberger. So yeah, I saw that on the ticker on the tracker. A couple of tweets come out about Ben Roethlisberger looking pretty bad in these past 2 games, and the thought of the Steelers being too low with him as their quarterback. Now I'm looking at these statistics here. From week 1, he threw for 295, 1 touchdown, I believe, 2 picks. Week 2 against, I think it was previous week, he didn't do too bad, but they lost. He won. They lost to the Raiders. Week 3, throw for 300 yards, I believe, 300 yards passing, 1 touchdown and 2 picks. And people are saying that he looked pretty bad in those games. So I'm asking y'all, should the Steelers move on from Ben Roethlisberger now to try to save this season, or continue to fight it out with him and, see if the team can get some momentum going? Because I think they got some good weapons on that team, man. And, I'm not sure if it's all on Ben Roethlisberger as to why they lose. So go ahead.
I'll go first. I think you got to ride it out with Ben, unless if it's like so bad you have no choice. I think you got to ride it. And he's a veteran. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's on his last legs. That's definitely what the situation is. But he's proven that he can get the job done when he needs. But a lot of people predicted the Steelers would have the first losing season in the Mike Tomlin era. This really isn't a surprise. Maybe
what is it based on, though? Based on what? I mean,
no, they just
with their personnel is not bad, though.
No, it's not the issue. Just the AFC North is really, really good. AFC is really, really good, and they just thought, like, last year record was really an anomaly, and they just don't trust the Steelers. That's just what a lot of they think the Steelers would have a losing record. So I think you give Big Ben the opportunity, but again, if it gets to the point where he's just so bad you have no choice, then you give one of the backups an opportunity. But the thing is, which backup do you trust that you think can give you a spark? And so you can maybe say you won't know until you give him the opportunity. But that's the problem. It's easier said than done. Everyone, the most popular player on the team is the backup quarterback until he's actually in the game. Then we find out what it's really about.
That's true in Philadelphia, though, man. For some reason in Philly, they always root for the backup, man. But you think they should go out and get Cam? You not got to ask that. Should they go get Cam? I thought they should have did it last year. I thought they did it free agency. That's what I thought.
In my opinion, 2 declining quarterbacks. But why not? If you think you need to do that, I don't see the problem with that. But I think that.
Okay.
But something I saw. I would love your thought. Aaron Rodgers, who's probably more than likely going to be out of Green Bay next season. Some people are wondering. I saw he was like, Aaron Rodgers was talking glowingly about the Steelers. Now you can just say that's just.
When was this?
I'm playing this week, but I think that'd be an interesting situation. This team maybe needs to get better on the offensive line. Their defense is loaded. They have offensive lines. Aaron Rodgers wants out, and Aaron Rodgers still can play. I'm up to that.
You see, Aaron Rodgers talking about the Steelers?
Yeah, they're saying like, what would you think of that? Is basically.
What would I think of that? First, man, I'm like Kyle Hurd on this one with Aaron Rodgers. It just felt like his brand is just, it don't fit the Midwest or the blue collar, East Coast cities like Pittsburgh. To me, it just always felt like somebody on the West, somebody that should be on the West Coast, or like in some of these party cities like Nashville. Like the Titans would be a good spot for Aaron Rodgers. The Saints, you know what I'm saying? Denver, Las Vegas. But that ain't happening now because of Derek Carr. But Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, man, I don't know.
I don't know, but mean, it just depends on if they both want each other. That could be a fit. Yeah, if there's one team I could see him going since he's come or he went to school at Cal, I could see him wanting to play for the 49ers.
But he got another quarterback though.
But if you can get Aaron Rodgers, you're gonna take Aaron Rodgers.
No.
You got Aaron Rodgers. You're gonna take it. Unless if Trey Lance comes in and just lights it up, but I don't see that happening. But this is just something I saw. That's a lot of.
Go ahead, Leo.
That's all.
Go ahead.
Y'all went out. A Big Ben, I just think he's on his last leg. Like it's time to hang him up now. It was a great run. I think Ben's still the starter because of what he's done. Like this is why him and Eli had kind of the same ending. Y'all notice this happened the same thing with Eli Manning. The Giants didn't want to pull the plug on him because the guy started 200 some games in a row. You never missed a snap. Didn't miss nothing. But you don't. The best teams know when it's too early. The best teams do it when it's before it's too late. Andy Reid got Patrick Mahomes before it was too late. Like you gotta get your quarterback in there before get him out of there before it's too late. It's too late now. And then they this is the same thing that with last year with Eli. I mean, 2 years ago with Eli. You didn't get him out of there in time, and then it hurts your team because the Steelers have a phenomenal team. Like offensively, they are offensively challenged like badly. They need some more pieces. But defensively, their defense is they're a lesser version of the Broncos. I think the Broncos is. I don't even think Ben's better than Teddy right now. I'll take Teddy right now.
Yeah, I would too.
Teddy don't turn the ball over. They still need somebody that don't turn the ball over and not as. You don't need a risk taker. You just need somebody that takes layups and dunks. Bridgewater takes layups and dunks. So now, I do think it's an intriguing question, y'all. Do y'all think that Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins to be that guy that like take over? Because I think I would not give up on Dwayne Haskins at all. That man has so much physical talent, and I think he was done a raw deal by Ron Rivera. I kind of don't like Ron Rivera for doing that, letting him go, because I would have let Haskins ride it out, and we would have just, if we bet butted heads, I think that guy has phenomenal talent. I think that guy's gonna be a starter somewhere. Yes, he's riding the bench right now, but Dwayne Haskins is not done yet as a starter in the NFL.
I think he has a shot. It's just the Steelers aren't. The Steelers don't rebuild. They retool. The Steelers are one of the few franchises, kind of like the Lakers. They don't rebuild. They retool. They don't have time to wait for a rebuild. So if they can find someone better, a veteran that they feel like can help them win, then yeah, they'll do that. But if they feel like those their options they have help them, then they'll do that. But I'm not on Rudolph or Haskins yet. But they can change my mind.
As for me, I saw what I seen. I saw what I need to see with Mason Rudolph, and I'm not sold on that guy as a long-term option. But I like to see what Dwayne Haskins can do. I think he's grown up, learned from his mistakes. I think he would do better than what Ben Roethlisberger is doing as far as ball control, managing that offense. But Ben Roethlisberger, man, we don't know, man. I think you gotta keep going with it, man. I think you gotta keep. It's too early. Like I said, it's too early to. I think Steelers are 1-2 now. It's too early to make a switch right now, man. And I think Tomlin wouldn't do that anyway. He's gonna ride it out with Big Ben until. He feels the pressure. He's feeling that thing is losing. He's feel like he's losing his grip on the playoff berth. I think that's when he would make the change. But now you got to ride out with Big Ben. You got anything else to add, y'all?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I looked at the Steelers schedule. They have a few opportunities to try to get back to 500 and then take it from there. So I think it's too. Make that decision. But again, unless if he's like so bad where you have no choice, then I think I wouldn't be surprised to see Tom do it. but Tomlin and Big Ben been together since Tomlin's been there, so that would be a tough choice to make. I could see Tomlin doing it, but he would have to be given a really strong reason to do it.
All right. So, next topic, moving right along. We're gonna talk about the NBA. Finally, NBA training camp is upon us. It's crazy, man. Like I said, these sports are pretty much running, together now. I remember like the NBA had just finished in like July, I believe. July was the NBA finals ended, and like they went through free agency. The draft started up. They got the draft going, and it's kicking right back up. So I'd like to talk about, open up with Kyrie Irving. But, I got some intel, from a trusted outlet, independent outlet that I'm subscribed to. And it's that the Brooklyn Nets want Kevin Durant to sign off on them trading Kyrie Irving because of this the league's, I won't say the league, it's the vaccine COVID-ish protocols with these cities that they travel in, and they want to go into this intel that I got is that they want to move off. They want Kevin Durant to bless off on them trading Kyrie. And the Nets believe that, according to this report, the source, the Nets believe that Harden and KD with Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, and the rest of the crew is sufficient enough. I would say sufficient enough to make a run through the West. Not the West, the East. So I want to ask y'all: do you think it will be wise to trade Kyrie Irving and roll and still be a threat in the West, not the West, the East, with just KD and James Harden on the roster? Your thoughts?
I really feel that trading trading Kyrie, at this point, there's no point in doing that because it was already reported, and I don't know if y'all know, that they were already going to trade Kyrie. No. But yeah, you want you just have to keep Kyrie because what are you going to do? The first question when you say you're going to trade somebody is, what am I getting?
Say again? You broke up.
The thing about it is, though, when you talk about trading players, are the pieces that I get, is it going to be better than what I had? And I don't think they can trade anybody. Well, I think Ben would be, if Ben Simmons would be equivalent, but even then, you're not getting, because Ben Simmons is up there. I think he's a better pass. And I think he's getting the best. Kyrie up there. It's very limited to what you earn. But it would depend what like. You have to throw somebody at me and the Brooklyn trade. But I can't really think of much.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go. I can just tell you that that's on trading Kyrie, and I just don't. Few reasons why. Like the other stars don't want it to happen, and number two, I think Kyrie would retire before they let him. He's just that type of dude. And I think with Kyrie Irving and Andrew Wiggins and I think Jonathan Isaac, these guys are just different dudes. They're just different dudes. And so I think because I think they've missed like their home games, Andrew Wiggins and Kyrie Irving. So I'm not gonna roll it out and get vaccinated. What the NBA needs to do is just go ahead and do a vaccine mandate for everybody. They did it for all the other arena workers. Breeze too. I just don't know why they don't do it for all the players. That's really the bigger issue that I have. If you do that, that solves it. Like I saw something earlier with, I know it's a little different situation, but with Sage Steele, you probably know her from ESPN.
Yeah.
She didn't get the vaccine, but ESPN said, do you get the vaccine or you're not going to work here? And decided, I think I'll get the vaccine. Can't really do that with the NBA players, but you could just, it would make, I think they would do it because, I mean, over 90% are vaccinated. So these guys, I don't know what research they're doing. And me personally, at first I didn't want to get the vaccine, but I did my research and I just realized it was just the best thing for me. It's not always about you; it's about everybody else. And so you got to make these decisions, and I think ultimately they'll make to get vaccinated. But it'll be interesting to see.
Dude, you know what, man? I like Kyrie. Yeah, I'm a big fan. But man, I don't know if he's gonna comply, man. I think Kyrie will retire before he get this mandate, man. I think he will sit out the season.
I don't think he'll retire. I think he would do it. Now, if they tried to trade him, I think he would retire.
But I'm like, where would he go though? Well, I mean, where can you trade this guy and get equal amount outside of going to Philly? Where can you go outside of Philly? The Lakers?
Outside of Philly.
You're not gonna send him to the Lakers. You're not going to the Lakers.
That ain't happening.
You're not sending him to Boston.
You know what? Let's say him to. I'm gonna throw some teams in charge. Y'all tell me, do they think they have the pieces? I'm not saying the one player is not going to be able to fill Kyrie Irving's shoes. Why not? Shoot, this is gonna be hard. But why not send him to Minnesota?
Oh. For who? Cat?
I can see that.
For who?
I can see that.
You might have to throw Edwards in there. Edwards don't have to go. Sorry. I need Edwards. This is the only way. And that's what I'm starting at.
I don't know, man. It's just a dicey situation, man.
If I'm running the T-Wolves, I'm hanging up the phone. Edwards ain't going anyway. So if you say that, if we were on the phone, I would just hang up the phone. Edwards ain't going anyway.
I don't know, man. It's a dicey situation, man.
Go ahead.
I don't know, man. It's dicey. I don't know, man. I think they're not gonna trade him. I think he's just gonna miss some games, man. It's just gonna be a lot of nights where it's just KD and James Harden, man. That's enough. I think that's enough to hold it down. Now in the playoffs, that's a different story.
I'm tired of
Kyrie. Isn't this the same Kyrie? Kyrie's just an interesting person. When they were doing the bubble, this is the same guy that didn't want to go. I think because of something. I think it had something to do with ironically. And now when it comes to vaccine, he does. This dude's crazy, man. He's crazy. That's the only thing that makes sense, man. Only thing that makes sense.
All right, man. So next topic. I mean, y'all should know where I'm going with this one. Ben Simmons. So we already know Ben Simmons has stated that he wants out of Philadelphia. He wants nothing to do with the organization at all. So I saw one of Kendrick Perkins' tweet last week, and I liked Perk to a certain extent, but some of his takes are just, off the wall. But I understand that the industry that we're in, and that it's about going viral. Now it's all about going viral instead of having substance to your tweets. He stated that Draymond Green and Ben Simmons are the same player. They're good with passing. They're good at pushing the ball up the court. But one is more athletic. So he's saying that Ben Simmons is more athletic than Draymond Green, but that should be enough to trade them, to have the trade.
Okay.
But my thing is, being athletic, just because you do the same, both players have the same skill set, but just because one is more athletic than the other, they're just not. It's not sufficient grounds for me to go off to get on the phone with Golden State. And also, I just don't know about people don't realize this. I think they don't realize this with Draymond Green. He's not the scorer as like a Steph and a Clay, or KD back during that run or now. But he provides so much more to that team that people don't realize as far as leadership on the court, man. And I just don't think they're gonna have that with Ben Simmons. I just don't. I just think that's a bad trade. Your thoughts, please. And where would y'all think Ben? And then my next question after that is, where do you think Ben Simmons should go? What's the best spot for him? The best. What do y'all think he should go?
Well, his best spot. Let's answer your last question. The best spot where he should go is the Philadelphia 76ers. That's the best spot where he should go because, first of all, I think this is a realistic chance at a championship. Ain't no team gets them. What people might not it is, but whatever team Ben Simmons goes to, if it's not the Sixers, it's going to get better. Like from where they are, because he's probably going to a bad team. So if you go to a bad team, any team that they're considering trading you to, none of those teams are better than what you are in right now. And you don't realize this. See, Ben's made it about him. Ben don't understand the fact that, okay, there's a team aspect to this. Your team is willing to accept you for your flaws. You have a flaw, you can't shoot, okay? But you're great at everything else. And your team is accepting you for that. And they tried to meet with you. Reportedly, they tried to meet with him in Cali. And he wouldn't even want to meet with your team. So that shows you when guys are going out of their way on their vacation, I know it's about the school season, but they're going out of their way to say, we're going to meet with this guy because we want him back on our squad. You not really say that. You accept it, then that says something wrong with you. So to answer your question, Philadelphia is where he should. This is his best spot. But some teams that I think will watch out for. Watch out! Don't be surprised if I can see Portland, Minnesota, Houston. Do not count out Golden State. I think Golden State doesn't have the. Golden State has the pieces, but I don't think they have the. They don't really make a move. But I do see Minnesota. Now that's a play. Minnesota is definitely running for him. They actually, if you look on MGM, they're actually the favorite to land him, and I agree with that because. They have pieces that now in a Ben Simmons, Edwards may have to go, and there's just the logistics of it because he's gonna have to go. And I would make the move if I were in Minnesota. I'm sorry, Edwards is going to be a superstar in this league, but I already have Ben. I'm getting a borderline. If Ben Simmons could shoot threes consistently, he'd be a superstar player, and the Sixers wouldn't trade him. So keep that in mind. Ben Simmons is a jump shot away from being untradeable. But he's tradable because he can't shoot. You just gotta be realistic. That's why he's even on the block. But he can't shoot. If he could shoot, we wouldn't have this conversation. It would be a non-topic, non-discussion. It would be irrelevant. Good.
Yeah, I disagree with you that he should stay in Philly. I think that ship is sailed. He needs to get the hell out of there for everybody. I think there was a report out there that the teammates tried to reach out to him to try to talk to him. He didn't even want that. So I think that, and then after that Game 7 when Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid said what they said, and I'm not saying they're wrong. They said about times that's the worst thing you can do. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to find a trade because this is kind of the hardest time to make trades. But I can see him going to the Warriors. I think if I'm the Warriors, I make the trade because what other player can you help them? Because I think they're still a tier below the Lakers and a few other to get to that level. I think they need a player like Ben Simmons and add other pieces because you'll lose some pieces to add to your roster. The T-Wolves would be another fit. It just depends on what you would have to give up, and they may need to make that field adjustment. And then a team that I saw Bleacher Report a few weeks ago, a team that I saw really, really interesting would be the Atlanta Hawks. The reason why I say the Atlanta Hawks is the Atlanta Hawks, if you were to think about it, they're basically the Warriors East. Their GM came from the Warriors. A lot of the players they have, their star player in the mold of a Steph Curry. So right now, the one piece they're missing is Draymond Green. He's a player that be their Draymond Green. It could be Simmons. And you want to have to the stars. Trae Young's a star, and he would have to just be the best version of himself. And I think he could do that in Atlanta. It would be kind of tricky fitting him and Collins together. I think McMillan and his staff can figure that out. I think those teams are the teams. I mean, I would like to see him go to the Grizzlies, but I don't think that'll happen. So those are my top teams. And so, what are your thoughts on that, BB?
I think the best place where Simmons need to be at is the Sixers, man. I just think that's just the best situation for him. The best is the closest to where he's gonna get to a championship because Clippers aren't interested. Lakers won't be interested. I think any of the I think the top contenders are not gonna be interested in Ben Simmons. Plain and simple. I just think if he would have just focused a little more on building his craft, working on his craft as an overall basketball player, working on his shot and all that, I think he would be a better player, now. And we wouldn't even be talking about him getting traded or anything like that. I still don't understand the whole beef between him and Joel Embiid. I really don't get it, but that's just superstars as usual sometimes. But I think the best place for him is the 76ers and work with Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers won a championship before, been in countless battles before with other teams in the playoffs, and I think he's a good coach. But because I don't think he gets that in Minnesota. Minnesota, Portland would be a good spot for him. Portland would be good for Ben Simmons, but what would be compensation for would they give up C.J. McCullough for Ben Simmons? I think that would make him a better team too. I mean, that'd be good. I think that trade would be better for Philadelphia compared to Portland. But we'll see, man. He'll get moved. I think he'll get moved before the trade deadline.
So you think he'll start? You think he'll get to February? So you think he'll get moved before the deadline? But do you think he's going before the season starts?
Oh man, I don't know.
I think he is. I think they move him before the season. I think that if they're going to move him, I think they'll move him before the season. Because the longer you wait, his value is already pretty low. The longer you wait, like that James Harden trade at the deadline, they could have gotten more if they had traded him. And at that time, they didn't. They were going to trade him. But the best trades are in the summertime or right before the season. Sometimes at the trade deadline, you can, but you're not going to get as much value as you could right now. So.
Bro, did you see how much they got for James Harden? All those picks.
That was nothing. Come on, man. They could have got more. They could have gotten more. The thing with these picks, players over picks. That's what one of my favorite analysts, Bucky Brooks, said. Players over picks, because you get a proven commodity in a player. A pick, you don't know who the hell. And for all you know, that could be a draft and stash. For all you know, so I mean, you want that player you can get right now. Now we can work with him and build around him. So
I know it's a different sport, but tell Jimmy Johnson that about how he built the Cowboys on picks. And DB know about that. Building them Cowboys on. He traded one player, Herschel Walker, built all those. Got Emmitt Smith, got Darren with all those guys on picks. So picks mean for some. I mean, different sport, but still though. Pick, and you saw they got Josh Christopher, Jalen Green. I think when they were able to get a guy, they were able to get 4 first-round picks, and those are all guys that are going to contribute to that team. So picks matter for something, but I do agree that people like they want to see, like, we haven't seen those guys play. We've seen Simmons, and so we know what Simmons is. So, but DB, I do agree with you on Portland. Portland would be an interesting spot. I wonder how him and Damian would play together. And I think if you my friend and I talked about this, and I want to see if y'all agree. We talked about if Simmons were just committed. I know this is going to sound hard, but if he just played the 4 and gave you 20 and 10 a night, we wouldn't have to worry about his shooting. And why don't the Sixers just move him to the 4? Or do y'all think he's unwilling to do that?
They kind of already tried that. And so it's not like they haven't. Yeah, I saw this one video. This guy, you probably should try to check out his videos. Big B-ball breakdown on YouTube. He said Simmons should be a center. That's what he said. He said the problem with Embiid and Simmons is they play the same positions. That Simmons should be a center, and then you can get the best out of him. And so I thought that was interesting, and he really explained how it worked. But I really don't know. It all depends on what the Sixers. They got to do what's best for them. If they feel like sending Ben Simmons to Toronto is best for them, they'll do it. So that's all they got to do.
For
so
who?
I'll be interested what they'll do.
For who though?
No, I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying like that's a.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, Toronto, that wouldn't be bad.
No, I know, but I'm not saying that's an actual possibility. I'm just saying, here's an example, like the Spurs did with Kawhi. He wanted to go to the Lakers, and I'm not saying Simmons wanted to. They sent him to Toronto because that's what they did. Now it was bad for the Spurs. If you look at it, hindsight 2020, they definitely could have done more with Lakers core the gunplay. But the Sixers got to do what's best for them. And Daryl Morey is a smart enough executive to know that. That's why he could have probably traded a long time ago, but he didn't get what he wanted and what he felt was best for the Sixers. So that's why he hasn't. But I believe within a week he'll be traded. I'll be stunned if he's not traded within a week. Or before the season starts, let's put it that way.
Think so? Alright. Okay, dig that?
Really, I want to add, you a New Orleans guy, and I know, I don't want to take you off the course of your podcast and everything. You know, we're talking about Ben Simmons. I know you see, as a New Orleans guy, I know you see Zion Williamson reports. I really want to know your opinion on them in terms about his discontent and his dissatisfaction with the Pelicans organization in terms of how they handle his injury, things of that nature. Do you think eventually he could be a potential next Ben Simmons and wanting out? And in terms of him, like, what would New Orleans, in y'all opinion, have to do to try to keep him? Because they're not ready playoff wise yet. I mean, they got a lot of talent. He got a lot of young Kyra Lewis Jr. I think he's gonna step up and be really big for them this year. You got Jonas Valanciunas as a veteran has been through a lot of wars in the playoffs. So in terms of talent, like super talent that's on his level, they don't really have that much around him. And so you think Zion is a big star to ask out?
It's a possibility, man. I'm not. When the Pelicans drafted Zion, I already, knew in my mind, already, prepared myself mentally that he was going to leave eventually, because that's just, it's just the NBA. It's just today's athlete, today's, NBA player, superstar. It's just, I just wanted him to help the Pelicans be relevant, be a contender, and if he can, draw his time here, gets to like one championship, one or two NBA finals, and then leave. Because I just don't think, it's just different, man. It just, I'm not trying to say anything about, Giannis or international players. It's just to me that an international player compared to an American-born player is more willing to stay in a smaller market. You know what I'm saying? So with Zion, there's so many layers of that story right now. I don't know if y'all heard it, but there's a report that in an article written by Christian Clark of The Advocate in New Orleans that during the bubble, you remember the report that came out that Zion had to leave the bubble because of a family emergency, when actuality it was that he was injured, and his family wanted Griffin to cover it up. So, and then happened again with, this past offseason. He was injured again. Family covered it up with Griffin. So I don't really know what's going on. If we do move off of him, I think we got to get the best We gotta get the biggest haul for that possible for him. But I just think that he needs to realize that he's not playing at Duke anymore. This ain't AAU ball. You're not playing in the ACC where you winning 35, 40 games a year, getting the number one seed and all this other stuff. This is the West. It's like the NFL. You know, you're in college. You're playing with elite talent all over. You go into a unconventional situation. Now you got to put in work, man. It just ain't gonna happen overnight playing in the West or any bad team, in general. So that's how I feel about it, man. I'm not really. I already prepared myself mentally that he's gonna leave. And I'm not. And I said last season I made a poll about this, a tweet about this, about the possibility of him not signing his first deal, his first max deal, and I got clowning on social media, on Facebook and Twitter for saying that. Now look where we at now. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of knew the writing was on the wall with this stuff. But if we have, I think he will probably stay longer if they move on from David Griffin, because I don't think the relationship between those two is good.
Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think Zion Williamson can be the best player on a championship team?
I don't know yet. I haven't seen enough. You asking me this through 85 games, I'm not sure yet. But I do think, if I'm going off what I've seen, yes, but I haven't seen enough samples to know. And the question is, only question with Zion is I'm gonna make a comparison. Like you say, you asked me that, but then I'm gonna compare. I think his comparison is Charles Barkley. Then I'm gonna say, was Charles Barkley good enough to be the best player on the championship team? I'm gonna say yes. So I think Zion's good enough. I think I'm gonna go with yes, but I haven't seen enough Brian to give you a full answer. Now, you should ask me that after this season. I can tell you, but I haven't seen enough.
I can go ahead and already tell you, I don't personally think he can. Not saying he will. He won't. I just don't think that's I would lean toward Brandon Ingram being that type of guy. That's just
Brandon Ingram?
Yeah, I think Brandon Ingram can be the
Brandon Ingram.
Yes.
Wow.
Let me give you. If you look at the teams that have won, the final MVP, the best plays usually are wings and guards. I mean,
dude, we needed him last year. He went away. He disappeared.
Well, and another thing some people are saying is Zion and Brandon Ingram aren't the greatest fit. That's a lot. I've been hearing that too, or seeing that they don't think it's the greatest basketball fit.
Who, Perk?
No, that's just what I can't remember who I saw that from, but no, it wasn't Perk. I would have remembered.
Come on, man. They're good fit, man. I think they just gotta, man. We just gotta put it all together, man. We just gotta put it all together and put it in the work. I think we got the right coach for it right now. Go ahead, Leo.
Okay, I have a question. So, really, with Brandon Ingram, I just really don't see him being the best player on the championship team, either. But, I can't say he got a better ceiling than Zion, because Zion, the only problem with Zion is injury prone. He injury prone. He got hurt at Duke. I think he got, not hurt at Duke, but he got some issues with Duke. He got some NBA issues, in terms of being hurt and all that. So I think durability could be the reason why he may not be a championship leader on the championship team. But if he gets these injuries right and you are able to stay healthy free, the guy's averaging 20. He's averaged 27 points a game last year. You know he can score. And the question is, can he make his teammates around him better, and can he uplift them? That's when a team like a New Orleans can win the championship, because him scoring 29 points a game, we saw this with Anthony Davis. It's gonna get them a championship. He's not even gonna get you all the time to the playoffs. You're gonna have to elevate your teammates around you. You're gonna have to have, okay, if he scored 28 points, Ingram might be right there, but you need Tyler Lewis to be at 15, 17. You're gonna need guys to step up. You're gonna need Jones to be at 15, 17. See, so it's gonna have to, his play gonna have to uplift a team like the Pelicans for them to win a championship. It can't just be Zion and everybody else just watching.
You're right. You're right, man. If you could get the, I mean, I don't know if this, I don't know if they're gonna use this point Zion stuff where he was I don't know if y'all noticed that he was pushing the ball up the court last year and they call it point Zion when he was like a power forward slash point guard. I mean, that can work, but the other guys got to get involved for the Pelicans, man. Point guard is going to be important, going forward. And I just really want to see what the new coach is going to do. Man. We got it from you guys ties to Golden State, so that's a plus. He worked with Monty Williams, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, man. Anything else you want to add? We done? Alright, man, that's it. That's all I have for y'all for right now. Just give us a like, comment, subscribe. You listen to this on YouTube, give us a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you feel, critique. Listen to this on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Anchor. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave your comments. You can follow me at Strike 7 Sports on IG, Facebook, Twitter. Just type in Strike 7 Sports. It'll be there. What do y'all got? Let them know if you follow you on Twitter.
If you type in my name, Brian Dash, you'll be able to see me. I don't think my username's pretty long. So it's not
All right, go ahead, man.
For me, my name is Leach Jr. You can call me LIADWIN, and then Junior JR, and then I'll pop up on the screen.
All right, man. Just check out strike7sports.com. We'll be, posting some new stories later, during the week. Got some stuff coming out on LSU. I'll be previewing one of the big college football games this week. No NFL content, this week. So it's gonna be on some college football and address some Memphis situations as well with the basketball. That's all I have for y'all for right now. Have a blessed night. Peace. Wow.